Um, I think that's my lane. I think my lane is the pop R&B house music, and doing it from the perspective of newly doing it from this perspective of like talking about men
Mm-hmm.
openly
Mm.
and finding a way to intersect that with love and like mental health. Because I
Right.
feel like that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's a lot of mainstream sex songs that are about people having sex with the same gender.
That's true. It's very
Yeah.
gender neutral.
Yeah. I've always been gender neutral with my lyrics.
I try to recently, not because like, I mean, I'm straight, number one, but I think
Straight out the gate.
I just want people to be able to relate on both sides, like no
Yes.
matter what your gender is. So that's why like
Yeah.
I do it, but I definitely think it's important that you do that because you're giving people who feel like they don't have that outlet to hear it
Yes.
something to relate to.
Well, people need to also hear their own. People are always looking for something that they feel like they can relate to. Oh,
Welcome back to the Face of Music podcast. I am your host, Sarey Savvy, and that is
Emanuel Brown.
actually it's the opposite. You dumb motherfuckers. My name's Emanuel Brown, and that is
I am Sarey Savvy.
yeah. So we're back with another one.
This week,
This week we're talking about how we feel like artists need to find your lane.
you know, which one is it? When you're on I-5, is it the one all the way to the left? Is it the two in the middle? Is it the one to the right?
So you're saying is it the fast lane, the slow lane, or the medium?
There
lane?
you go. See, that's how you know I don't have my license yet. Oh wait, did I?
Now they
oh,
know. Dumbass. Anyways,
Okay, well the right lane is when you take the exit, right? Right?
moving on. Anyways,
Okay.
so finding your lane.
Oh.
What do you think? Expound.
Well, before we get into that, we gotta give a shout out. You always be forgetting that shit.
No, I don't.
We need to give a shout out to our friends of the podcast, Lemon Perfect. He made this pussy. Oh, don't copyright us for that, YouTube. So it's drink more lemons. It's 5 calories a bottle. This is original lemon again,
Oregano.
and you got peach raspberry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And this is full of flavor, no sugar. So make sure to go buy it.
Drink more lemons.
Yes.
Available everywhere.
Available everywhere. They just got in stock at 7-Eleven. Make sure to go check that out.
And they're at your airport in all 50 states. We're not getting paid
Crazy.
to say this. We just love them.
We've been drinking it for
And
years.
they love us. We're grateful.
And we love each other.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, sir.
So,
Is that good?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was good.
So find your lane.
Find your lane.
What do you mean? What do you mean find my lane?
So I feel like there's so many artists who like see a Taylor Swift and they're like, oh man, I love Taylor Swift. I want to make music just like her. But it's like,
Stop.
that's beautiful that you love Taylor Swift. That's beautiful that she inspired you, but there's already a Taylor Swift. So you cannot do what Taylor Swift is already doing because it's not going to work. So you need to find what works for you, Jenny, if you love Taylor Swift.
Who's Jenny?
Just a fucking name.
Okay.
But maybe, you know,
Yeah.
maybe.
Save yourself.
okay, maybe you could just, you know, do music that is true to you, that you love, that is inspired
Right.
by Taylor Swift. You know what I'm saying?
Because you could be like, you could be an Ava Max who does pop music, and that's what works for your branding. But you might like all sorts of music. She might do karaoke and do an R&B song for all we know.
Yep.
But pop music is where she belongs.
The home
The home.
base.
What is your lane?
What is my lane?
What's your fucking lane? When you driving, which lane?
Oh, now are you asking where I'm driving in the lanes or what's my lane musically?
What's your lane musically when you're driving?
Oh, that's a great question. It depends on the day. It depends on the day, but I know what he's getting at. So I like to stay in the hip hop, R&B, neo soul range.
Okay.
Lane, that's my lane.
That's his lane.
Right.
Stay in your lane.
So again, like just what I was just saying, I try to stay true to myself, even though we are all influenced by the music that we listen to all the
Right.
time,
Oh, yeah.
every day,
Oh, yeah.
everywhere. I try to remember what makes me, me, is that I can only talk about the things that I know,
Yes.
I love,
Mm.
and what's true to me.
Mm.
And I can have dashes and splashes of a Maxwell,
Dashes and splashes.
like Maxwell or TLC or
Okay.
Jay-Z or LL
Ooh.
Cool J. You know what I mean? Like I can do
Yes.
a little bit of that, but I don't need to be them because they're already them. You know?
Right.
What about you? We know you don't drive. You said that earlier.
So
But
I don't have a lane then. I'm just a passenger. Like my lane to me
you can have a
is
lane that you walk in on the sidewalk.
period, no blood. I would say my lane is like a pop, R&B, house music. I feel like I dabble in those genres a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Most recently though, with the new music, I feel like it's more like R&B and hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
Because I mean, but that's nothing new for me because we did KSE.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new.
True.
But it is new because it's solo music.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think I'm a mixture of a bunch of amazing black artists like Aaliyah, Timbaland, Missy Elliott, Brandy. I love Brandy. I love Monica.
Wow.
Um,
Going back a ways there, my friend.
I know.
Okay.
I like to think that I'm a mixture of all of them. And then some more modern artists who are not necessarily black,
Mm-hmm.
but I love their music, like Ava Max and JoJo. And I'm trying to think of who else and Fifth Harmony, Camila Cabello. Like I feel like I'm a mixture of all of them. I really do. But I feel like what makes me different and how I in my branding, I think heavily sits on like personal experiences with mental health. And I live true to that because mental health is so important to me.
What a great segue into what makes you different. That's dope.
Yeah. I think that's my lane. I think my lane is the pop R&B house music and doing it from the perspective of like talking about men openly and finding a way to intersect that with love and like mental health because I feel like that doesn't happen. Like I don't think there's a lot of mainstream sex songs that are about people having sex with the same gender.
That's true. It's very gender neutral.
Yeah. I've always been gender neutral with my lyrics.
I try to recently, not because like I'm straight, number one, but I think
Straight out the gate.
I think I just want people to be able to relate on both sides, like no matter what your gender is. So that's why I do it. But I definitely think it's important that you do that because you're giving people who feel like they don't have that outlet to hear it something to relate to.
Well, people need to also hear their own. People are always looking for something that they feel like they can relate to.
You're saying you feel like people want to find themselves in you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like what better way to do that than to like be 100% myself.
So what do you think is, well, number one, you said like who makes Sarey Savvy as an artist?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't do that, so let me do that.
You.
Man, definitely Erykah Badu. Definitely D'Angelo. Maxwell's my favorite singer of all time. TLC.
So good.
Jay-Z. Snoop Dogg. Surprisingly, most people wouldn't think that. Snoop Dogg's like one of my favorite
Snoop
rappers
Dogg.
ever. LL Cool J.
LL Cool J.
I'll probably say Jay-Z too, for sure.
You said Jay-Z already.
Did I? Okay.
J. Cole.
Yeah.
No?
But no, I would say yes, but I would say like more Pusha T, like the rapper Pusha T,
you've spoken about him.
Just because like of what he represents for Virginia for me.
Okay.
So like I feel like that's like a mixture of who I am. If you was to
are.
put that in a blender and mix that bitch up.
And it makes so much sense. It really does. When you listen to your music, you do hear those influences. At least from the music I've heard from those artists, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. But like, what is your thing? Like, what is your... Because if we're talking about lanes, like, what is your selling point? You know what I mean?
Yes and no. Expound.
Like, why expound? Why can't you just fucking say expand and just be normal?
Expound. Explain.
So,
Elaborate.
Okay.
Go into more detail.
Okay.
Fucking do something.
All right. Fuck. Okay. So, your selling point. So, if you were to give people a reason why
Mm-hmm.
to listen to you,
Whoa.
why should people listen to you?
What a question. I wouldn't. I'm so glad you're asking this question because I would never do that. But
You're right, because they would be asking you, not you asking them.
yeah, but I just meant like I would never be like, here's why you should listen to me.
I see.
That's just like not me.
Right. If you had to, though.
If I had to, I would say if you're looking for, and this is something you said about my music too that I didn't really realize until
I'm
maybe about a
nervous
year
now.
and a half ago.
Fuck.
If you're looking for conversational music, right?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't feel like somebody's just like rapping to you. It feels like they're talking to you as you're listening to it. Then I'm what you're looking for. If you're looking for
no blood,
honest, raw, vulnerable music.
vulnerable for straight men anyway.
I think for anybody, but I can definitely see why you said that.
Vulnerable in a masculine sense.
But I think that's important though, because I feel like there's not a lot of straight men or men period, even if you're gay, straight, whatever, that are
that's a good
that
point.
are vulnerable.
But I feel like that's your niche though.
Yeah.
The masculine vulnerability, because you're straight.
Yeah.
And you talk about a lot of things that, in my experience, most things gay men cannot relate to, you know? Because you rap about how you know, where you grew up. You talk about your life experiences, which is uniquely you, but also you're a straight guy. So like it's very much appealing to the, there's nothing wrong with it. Right. But obviously, even anybody from any gender or any sexual orientation can take pieces of it. It'd be like, I get that. Like when you talk about struggling, where you grew up, like everyone knows what it's like to struggle. Well, most people know what it's like to struggle.
Yeah, I've been aware recently in my life. Some people fucking don't. No. But anyways, God, I have more information on that. But anyways,
we'll get back to that later. Just kidding.
No, we won't. off the camera,
I know.
We will. But,
that's why I said just kidding.
but yeah. So what about you? Like, what about you?
What's my selling point?
If you had to say to somebody, hey, I'm Sarey Savvy and my music means this to you, what would that be? Or not means that to you. I'm Sarey Savvy.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear my music, this is what it sounds like. What would you say?
This is what it sounds like?
Or this is what it feels like? This is what you're going to,
It feels like, ooh.
Yeah.
Recently.
I got his ass back.
What does it feel like? It feels like, I can't believe this, but I'm actually going to get emotional because I feel like a lot of my music is sad. It feels like someone asking for help.
Powerful.
It is powerful. That's why it makes me
emotional. A lot of
emotional.
people need help though. And they don't know how to ask for it. So maybe you're teaching them how to ask for help.
That's true. My music feels like things that people are too scared to say.
I agree. I think that's for both of us, but definitely for you.
Definitely for you too. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like it's about things that maybe you think about, but you don't say out loud because you're scared about the consequences
and how it'll make you look and feel.
Or how it will make other people feel, right? Well, I think about like song like "Call Me When You Sober Up." Like nobody really wants to openly talk about how like. Nobody has the real courage to be unfiltered about alcohol addiction to someone that they love that struggles with alcohol addiction because they're scared that might have a reverse effect on that person's growth when they're trying to sober up.
Yeah. And with that, thank you for that. And with that, right, do you think that's why you are specifically in your own lane because you don't think other artists are willing to do that, or you haven't heard of any other artists that's willing to do that?
I wouldn't say I'm in my own lane in that sense. I think what makes my own lane is just my unique experiences and how I show up in the world.
Damn, sounds like such a fucking corporate answer, but I love it. I love it.
I honestly feel like my personal experiences and
You know
how
that's not it's not going anywhere.
it just feels
It's
good
not a
to touch
dig.
it like that.
It's not a dig. So
Okay.
just stop.
Well, I feel like I can't not with you.
I mean, you
So
just like, what the fuck?
I honestly feel like what makes me different is how I talk about mental health.
Mm,
So like it's not just because everyone has personal experiences,
right.
but I feel like how do you tap into that for other people to hear about?
Yeah.
How do you speak about it? How do you show that?
And I think that's something you do really well, which is why I think your lane is very specific for you.
Yeah.
I mean, because you say on Call Me When You Sober Up, last night I think I might have had one too much. Passed out on the couch, I couldn't wake you up. Like that's really like, damn. Like I don't think I've personally,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a shit ton, there's billions of songs out there.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard somebody describe it that way. You know?
Yeah.
To like open up a song that then leads into talking about alcohol addiction and like call
Yeah.
me when you sober up, call
Yeah.
me when you had enough. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
damn, like that's crazy.
It's deep.
Yeah, it is.
It's very deep. And it's like a conversation we had in one of the episodes earlier where we talked about like saying more by saying less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah. For
So,
sure.
but I mean you're also very deep too. And I think I mean I feel like the more surface level analytically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the artists who are successful on an analytic perspective,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's because they're so good at capitalizing on who they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you find your identity through the music, which I feel like a lot of people struggle with.
Oh yeah, they sure do.
Yeah, because there's a lot of artists who put out great music, but you will never know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we've even had this conversation within the crew too, you know? But I mean, for you, like when you write about your personal experiences, they cut deep too,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and your bodies of work also really display that very well. But I mean, you know, like what I guess like when you are studying other artists
Mm-hmm.
or you are trying to learn more about who an artist is and what their lane is, like what do you look for that kind of tells you right off the bat, okay, this is this person's lane, you know?
That's a good question. Say it again.
Like when you are studying
Mm-hmm.
another artist, what is it for you that you look for to be able to identify what that person's lane is?
That's such a good question. That's why I had you say it again. I think it depends on, do I see anybody else talking about it the way they're talking about it?
That's a good one.
You know, and
That's a good one, yeah.
I believe personally, I believe timeless music and people who are in their own lane, they make me feel a way that I haven't felt before.
Ooh, yeah.
About music.
Yeah, that's good.
So I feel like that's how I know, like, oh man, like they're in their bag. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they figured out how to just stick here with where they're at. You know, or to continually just talk about things that are, it feels real for them.
Right. How do you find your lane though?
I think I've learned from, you know, I mean, everything of music is copying in some way. Like you're copying what you love. Right. So I feel like I figured it out by like knowing like, damn, this is what I like about types of music. How can I make that my own?
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like that's how I found my lane, is like, okay, like I love rapping, like I do.
Right.
But I also love singing too. I also love how R&B makes you feel. You know how the subgenre of R&B neo soul makes you feel.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love how rap makes you feel too. Like,
yeah. I mean, but it isn't. But finding your lane isn't just about the music.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
I mean, I also think too, it's like about who do you want to be that's attached to the music? Who do you want people to see when you're attached to said music too? So I think
yeah, I mean, I think of like purpose.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think a big part of finding your lane is finding your why.
So what is okay?
You know?
So what is your why?
I don't fucking know.
Yes, you do.
Okay, maybe I do. Okay, so what I will say is this: my biggest why. I feel like every artist has a lot of whys, but my biggest why.
I don't. I disagree with you.
Really?
I don't think a lot of artists think about their why.
Okay, no, actually, when you put it in that perspective, that makes sense. My why comes from I am writing music that I needed to hear when I was younger.
God
know?
damn.
Yeah, because I feel like if
Slap your mama, put that on a billboard.
I feel like
Don't slap your mama.
and I think that's don't do that. Yeah, but I feel like that's how I found my lane. You know, it's like the drive is like, how am I going to serve? Because there has to be other people who have felt the way that I felt, but maybe didn't have that necessarily an artist to turn to that could say it the way that they needed it, the way that they needed to hear it.
I feel like for me, and this is gonna sound crazy, right?
I mean, nothing's new with you. So.
I think one of my top 5 whys, right?
Okay.
I'm not gonna name the other 4, but like one of the biggest ones is that growing up in Newport News, Virginia, I'd never heard somebody talk about what it's like to grow up there.
Love it.
So I feel like that. I want to explore and let people know what it's like to come from where I grew up, right? And because people who've passed through it, they have an idea of what it is, but the world doesn't have an idea of what it is because it's a small area,
right?
You know what I mean? Like Seattle's massive in comparison to where I grew up. Like it's like 3 million people here. It's 300,000 where I grew up. You know what I mean? Like it's a massive difference. But there's still so much that goes on in a lot of smaller places that aren't considered metropolitans, and there's a lot of struggle in life that
people don't talk about.
Yeah, they don't talk about. So I feel like how can somebody who's never, and then on top of that, there's never been an artist that I know of that's done it from where I grew up. We have sports figures. We don't have music figures from my city that have done that for people.
Right.
So I think that's
hard.
That's a why for me.
That's hard. You're carving out a lane that's never been carved. Yeah. And that's what makes it difficult.
And I mean, you are too, specifically, because you said you have never seen someone like yourself who is a gay Cambodian man who does music, right? So it's like, ooh, how do we go about dictating that?
It's so difficult. But I also look at it as a good thing, because that means that is what makes us so unique.
Right.
So I think that branding sense, that finding your lane sense is so much easier for us.
Exactly. Yep.
As opposed to like some white girl who does pop music.
Some fucking white girl that does pop music. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? But like, seriously, like no shade. But I mean,
if it's shady, it's shady, baby.
I know, but like, there's a lot of...
Damn, that's a bar. I need to write that down. If it's shady, it's shady.
It's shady, baby.
Ooh, that's hard.
But, you know, I mean, let's just call it what it is, right? Like, that is not shade, because that is reality.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to become increasingly harder for like a white girl who does pop music to be able to stand out. It's going to increasingly become harder, as opposed to like a Vietnamese person who does R&B music.
That's true. Well, do you think that's an important part of being in your lane is being, I don't know how the fuck you just worded it. It sounded way better than what the fuck I'm about to say. Do you feel like it is important within your lane, being you, Cambodian, gay, pop, R&B artist, that you then have some relatability? Like that is a part of it. Like being in your lane is being relatable to people. Yeah. In the sense of like, damn, I can relate to that because I'm Cambodian, I'm gay. You know, maybe I don't know how to come out or whatever, or you know, maybe I'm Cambodian and I love R&B and pop music too, and house music too. You know what I mean?
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
because how big is that population? You know what I mean? That is looking for that kind of music. That sounds very specific.
So do you feel like also being in your lane can be to your detriment?
It can be, because I think people will box you.
They will.
They will definitely box you.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't box us the fuck in. What's wrong with y'all motherfuckers? Stop doing that shit. We are goddamn the earth.
The hesitancy.
Yeah, because I had to think of something real quick.
I think it's a detriment because it's like I said, people will box you, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a gay, like, listen, you go to any gay club in Seattle, all they're playing is house music.
Right.
They ain't playing no fucking hip hop. They're not playing Megan. They're not playing Cardi. They're not even playing pop music. It's literally house music. I've not been to a single gay club in Seattle where they're not playing R&B.
So
house music. It's everywhere.
Do you feel like it's your job in your lane to help diversify that?
I feel like that's a lot of pressure.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I'm not saying like,
I think so. I mean, if you think about it, my gig at Neighbors Nightclub, where I'm the main headliner, I'm not really doing house music.
It's true.
Like, I'm doing hip hop, I'm doing R&B, I'm doing pop music. It's not really house music though. And I feel like that's a new thing, especially for white gay people. Because I feel like for a lot of white, queer, and trans people, they go to the club, they're vibing with house music.
Or what was it? Drum and bass?
Drum and I think just like EDM music, period. However, I know that they listen to, I mean, come on now. Everyone listens to all types of music.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
I feel like it's a brand new thing to walk into, an establishment that has historically been one way and be like, no, I'm changing this shit up.
Yeah.
And you even said it yourself when you and King and Mo and Keontae were out and about that one time and you bumped into a gay person and they were tired of hearing.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And they were like, they want to hear variety. And I'm like, okay, well that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they was like, I'm tired of hearing the same house EDM shit in every fucking club. Like, why can't he's like, I want to twerk. I want to listen to some Meg. I want to listen to some Cardi. Yeah.
And even when I got the gig, even when it was offered to me, like, and the booker was telling me about like the gig itself, they're like, some dance music. And I'm like, of course. Because that's what we're comfortable with. That's what we're used to. But it's like, I know you guys listen to hip hop. I know you guys listen to R&B. So like,
so how do you stay true to yourself then? If you're constantly being told to go against what your norm is, isn't that exiting your lane?
Yeah, I mean, I think. Oh, that's
and I'll
deep.
come back to me too. Like, if you want to think about it, I can
Go.
speak.
Yeah, because I have to think about that. That's
so
deep.
like, I feel like there's been people who've told me like, oh man, like you should just like, you sound better as a singer.
You should just sing.
You should just sing.
R&B music.
R&B music.
Stop
Come on.
doing that rap shit.
Yeah, stop the rap shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck rapping. Like, take your shirt off. You're a good looking man.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? Take your shirt off. You'll get more that way. And it's like, damn, but like,
damn.
there's already a lane for that, and maybe that's not the lane I want to be in. Maybe I want people to respect me for my talent instead of what I look like. Right? Instead of what I physically look like, respect me for,
Because then you'll just be objectified. You'll just be like,
I'll just be like everybody else.
You'll just be like a hot guy.
And and then it comes back to the point you said, right? Y'all say y'all want something different, but then when you give you something different,
you don't want
it. So it's like
what?
You want me to find my lane, right? And I guess the whole synopsis thing here of what we're saying is it's good to be in your own lane, but people need to accept you for being in your own lane.
Yeah.
And I think that does take time. That does take, being able to work people, into that, like, understanding what that is.
It's always hard when you're like one of the firsts to be doing that. And that's Natalie. I love her. Natalie, girl, I love you and your podcast. But like when she said, it's hard being a pioneer, I was like, bitch. Me, no.
But you know what though? Like, as you tell me, take it.
Okay, I'll take it.
Take it, because if somebody who are you to discount how other people feel about you?
That's true. That's true. I just
and,
have
and
never
that
heard.
comes from a nigga who's trying to discount it. God damn it, I be trying to discount that shit.
I just have never heard someone say that to me before, because I
It's
feel
weird. It
it
feels
is
weird
so weird
in a
but
good way. Let's
yes.
please explain why it feels weird.
It feels weird because I just try to stay grounded. For me personally,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also I'm not used to compliments like that. Like I just didn't grow up like that.
And then on top of that, I think too, like, to explain
Thank you.
expound more on why
God, there he goes.
on why I think it's weird for me is because, like, as an artist, as you're trying to grow, you're not used to having people tell you how great you are.
Yes.
I literally just had this conversation with another artist the other day.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, like, you'd be surprised. She was like, people would be so surprised how easy it is to tell an upcoming artist how much you like what they do.
Yeah.
Like, it would really make them be like, oh shit. Like, because you just don't hear it.
You don't.
In the beginning, you don't hear it. Even if people like it, you don't hear it. So you don't really know, like, how to take it. When then people
Right.
are like, oh my God, you're a fucking pioneer. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, you're the best savior in the world. And you're like, what the fuck?
He
Like,
came to save pop music.
yeah, I'd be like, what the
That's
fuck
a
just
big
happened?
comment. I see that a lot now. Where people are like, she's here to save pop music, or he's here to save hip hop.
Yeah, and that's wild.
It
You know what I'm saying?
is crazy. I don't think people really understand what they're really saying.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's just a way to hype people up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just weird to hear that. And even I know for you, it's also hard to take compliments too. We give you compliments all the time, and I know you're like trying to like, learn how to just accept it, accept your flowers.
I just say thank you now. yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Okay, random ass question.
Mm-hmm.
Has being in therapy also helped you find your lane? Because therapy is really about exploring yourself too.
Yeah.
Exploring your identity.
I wouldn't say that. I
Okay.
think it's really helped me just realize, like, I'm enough.
Has it given you a sense of direction though?
Nah. I feel like I've
Really?
always been driven. I always know where I'm going.
Well, a sense
and
of
where I wanna
direction
go.
of like, does it help you do more self-discovery?
No.
Really?
Because I feel like I've always been pretty self-aware.
Okay.
But I just feel like, if anything, I take that back. It has made me discover one thing.
Okay.
That, like I said, that maybe me not trying to always be better is enough.
Yeah.
For everyone in my life. Because I'm notorious I can do better.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how you said, like, I don't take compliments well. I don't. I take insults better. I do. Because, like, so if you guys were to be like, Emmanuel, you're great, I'll be like,
Thanks.
Right. But if you're like, damn, you sucked on that song, can you do better? I'll be like, yeah,
that's
I
fire.
got you. I'm like, word, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But
like that's what charges me up.
Music is therapy. Music
Yeah.
is a form of therapy. Like there
It
are
is.
people who actually do that as a job to help
Yeah.
other people cope.
True.
But like has therapy helped you with your own music? No.
I don't think so, because I mean, I think my music has always been my therapy. Like, as you said, like what I write, I feel like what I write is really how I feel.
Yeah.
But I can't formulate the words to say in a conversation.
I see. Okay, I just wanted to point that out because mental health, like men's mental health, is something that's important to you,
Mm-hmm.
and you've talked about it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you bringing it up on your IG story a couple times, and I just bring that up because I just wonder, because I know for therapy for me, because mental health is so big to me. Oh my God, it's helped me find my lane too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like when you're in therapy and you're talking about certain things and someone's listening to you and they're basically like helping you, they're basically giving you a perspective from the outside.
Right.
So I feel like I've done a lot of self-discovery, but that's also, like I said, that's part of my branding. That's my lane. Like mental health, that's what I'm all about.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see if there was any connection because mental health has been a recent topic for you.
I mean, I've
outside of the
always,
music.
I think if anything, it made me just be more open about it
Yeah,
publicly
yeah,
more than anything, because
yeah,
I feel like, and that's a part of my lane, right?
yeah,
Like now I feel like it's like women deserve
yeah,
to speak on how they feel.
yeah, 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 for
They
sure.
deserve to be heard. They deserve to feel
It,
protected.
it shouldn't even be a thought
You know what I'm
that
saying?
you know what I mean.
Absolutely. But I also feel like there is a lack of appreciation for men
And yeah,
and respect for
and
men
respect.
and how they feel. Because like, and honestly, I feel like that's a part that I had to face,
Yeah,
right? Face the music, nigga. Like, because it's like, you know, a lot of people feel like as a man, if you're vulnerable, you're a bitch.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You're a bitch. What you being a bitch for?
yeah,
Shove that shit down, right? But like,
yeah. Keep it together.
yeah, but like, what if I can't keep it together? Why
Right,
do I always got to be the one to keep it together? What if
right,
I want to be vulnerable for a moment?
right, right.
What if I want to cry? Like, what's wrong with me doing that? Right? And
Yeah,
then like, you know, and I mean, it's the same too with women. Like some women are more harder
yeah,
than men, where
yeah,
it's like, man, like they have to deal with everything too. So I mean, it goes
yeah.
both ways.
It
I just
does.
feel like,
Women do have heart. Some women do have a really tough shell.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I get it. Like, I
yeah,
mean, I'm a true firm believer in earning kindness. So,
yeah.
you know, I get it, but I think, you know, it all ties into finding your lane, knowing what's important. I mean, I'm serious,
No, no, no.
because
It
like,
is.
I
It
mean,
is.
like that's who I am. Like, I need to know,
Right.
like, I want people to know, like, hey, like I am a 6'3", 250-pound black man,
Yeah.
right? But I get hurt too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a part of my lane as an artist. I want people to know, like, yo, there is this part of like how I came up, what I believe in. I can have fun,
So
but
you can
there's
have
also,
multiple.
yeah, there's also this soft side to me too. Like,
Yeah.
man, like, shit, I want to
I
be
love
told
that.
I'm loved too.
I love that
You know?
because a lot of people think that they have to be just one thing.
No.
But actually no, you should be flexible. You should be adaptable. So you saying like there's different parts of aspects of you that make your lane,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, first it was rapping
Mm-hmm.
and it was about just being able to just prove that you can rap.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have another lane which is like singing and being more soft spoken
Mm-hmm.
and gentle and kind. So I think that's another really good thing that you brought up is like when you find your lane, there is the possibility to expand. You don't have to just be one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really important thing to remind people, right? Because you can be a nice person, but you could also have boundaries,
Right.
right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. So why it doesn't have to be like that in music either. But I think it's important to find a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So finding your lane, is one of those things where it's like, okay, but who are you at the core? And how
Right.
does that translate to your music? And then when you find that out, I feel like you can expand into different directions.
Say that, man.
You know?
Yeah.
So you don't have to just do like neo soul music.
Right.
You know that though.
Yeah.
So I think that's yeah. Finding your lane it can be a complicated thing, but once you find it, it's like there's so many possibilities and you'll know how to tap into the right people.
Tap in, bitch. Yeah. So
So anyway, we hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Sometimes when we talk, I get lost.
yeah,
Legit.
me too.
I get really lost.
But I feel like it's always on topic though.
No, it definitely is, but sometimes I forget that we're being filmed. Like and that we have
I
headphones
don't.
on and well I do. So I'm scared that one of these days I might say some shit that's like, oh, I didn't want that on camera, but it is what it is. But
It's there now.
it's there now.
Because we don't cut shit. Well, that's not true. Usually, 95% of the time, we don't cut shit out.
Listen, the man's right. Thank you so much for tuning in with us for this episode about finding your lane. We hope that this helps you. And if there's any artists out there who are watching this, just take your time. I think I've said that before. You will find who you are as you write more music and you experience more things in life. So take your time. Don't be in a rush to do that.
And I also want to say, too, like, I know this is Face the Music, the
Yes.
podcast, and we speak on a lot of music stuff. And
We
I appreciate all the people who watch, listen, who aren't artists, but are
Yeah.
supporters of us
Yeah.
and want to learn more about, like, the artist insight.
Yes.
So thank you for being here.
Yes.
Please come back. Please tell more people. Please share this with your artist friends and just with your friends and people in your life as well.
Like this video, comment below what your thoughts are on this episode, and also if you have any questions or any topics we should touch up on.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, we drop an episode every other
Subscribe,
Tuesday.
motherfuckers.
Oh, and subscribe. Yes.
Subscribe.
We drop episodes every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we will see you in 2 weeks.
Like this.